What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today we're doing a sneaker battle between two pretty groundbreaking sneakers, the Adidas Ultra Boost and the Adidas Futurecraft 4D. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet and want to see more videos just like this one. Also make sure to give me a follow on Instagram and on Twitter at RealSethFowler. But with all of that out of the way, let's get into it. For the last 5 years, Boost technology has been one of Adidas's premier technologies when it comes to their premium sneakers. Boost is renowned for being extremely comfortable and having a very unique look, especially when it's not encased. And when it first released, it was hailed as a groundbreaking technology. It was extremely hyped at the time, and it was one of those technologies that you really had to try. Even though Adidas had been using Boost technology for a couple months before Kanye came to Adidas, you can actually give a lot of credit to Kanye for making Boost as popular as it was. Not only was Boost heavily featured in the Yeezy 750 and the Yeezy 350, but Kanye was also seen many times wearing the Adidas Ultra Boost, which quickly became an extremely popular silhouette. Ever since then, the Ultra Boost has become an extremely well-known name when it comes to comfort and performance. You guys know me, I love the Ultra Boost. I think it's a great looking shoe and also it's extremely comfortable. Obviously, Boost is at the peak of its popularity and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, but that doesn't mean Adidas wants to stop innovating. And so last year they introduced a brand new sneaker, the Futurecraft 4D. Now I definitely want to suggest you guys go check out my 4D review. I go in depth about how this midsole is made and sort of the future of Adidas sneakers, also how the shoe looks and how it feels and all sorts of good stuff like that. So if you're interested, make sure to click the link at the top of the screen or at the end of the video. But the crazy thing about the Adidas Futurecraft 4D is that the entire midsole is actually made by a form of 3D printing. The midsole is created by digital light synthesis, and basically what that is a process where light and oxygen is used to harden resin. In the same way a 3D printer works, or honestly even an inkjet printer, light is fired back and forth in layers through a resin bin, and then slowly as that process continues, the midsole is pulled out of the resin. So if you look really closely at the midsole itself, you can actually see the layers. So you might be saying, great, so it looks cool, it's probably more expensive, but what's the reason for doing that? Well, Adidas's long-term plan is to actually have these machines inside Adidas stores. So you could actually walk into a store, have your foot scanned, and then have a 3D printed midsole created just specifically for you. They can change the thickness and the pattern of the mesh so you can actually get support and cushion where you need it and where you want it. And the reason this is revolutionary is because obviously everyone's foot is different, and this would allow you to get a custom one-to-one fit specifically for your foot. So now that we've covered generally what the Futurecraft 4D is and the Ultra Boost is, let's get a little bit more in depth. First thing to look at when you're comparing these two shoes is the upper. The Ultra Boost utilizes a pretty tightly woven prime knit upper. It's stretchy yet supportive, especially in areas that you'd want. It also has perforations throughout to make it a little bit more breathable. One thing that's nice about the Ultra Boost prime knit upper is that it's been proven and tested over a couple years. So over the years, as people have worn these shoes, Adidas has made changes and upgrades to make this an even better fit and an even more comfortable shoe. Now moving over to the Futurecraft 4D, you still have a prime knit upper, but this time around it's a lot thinner and a lot stretchier. Not only that, but it's actually got perforations all the way throughout the upper, so it's extremely breathable, almost even to a fault. I got this shoe about a month ago, so the weather is still pretty cold, and I found that a lot of times, even with thick socks, my feet would still get very cold. That's something I didn't find to be true on the Ultra Boost because there was less perforations and the knit was a lot thicker. The prime knit on the Ultra Boost almost feels like a sock on top of your sock, whereas the prime knit on the Futurecraft almost just feels like a light mesh on top of your sock. That's not a bad thing, especially for summer, but honestly, I'm a little worried about durability over time. I've never had my toes go through a pair of Ultra Boosts, but that's honestly something I'm a little worried about with the Futurecraft. I'm planning to wear this pair to the ground, so we'll just have to wait and see. As for fit, I found that the Ultra Boost does fit relatively true to size. Of course, that varies from person to person, but usually I would recommend going true to size on this shoe. Alternatively, the Futurecraft, although I would say go true to size, unfortunately, that won't work for everybody. The biggest problem, obviously, is that there isn't any half sizes available in the Futurecraft. So if you're a size 10.5, you can't actually get a size 10.5, you actually have to go up or down. But here's where fit sort of becomes a problem because the Futurecraft definitely runs small and it's also a very narrow shoe. I'm a size 9, so I went true to size with a 9, and I found that even though I have pretty narrow feet and even though the shoe is exactly my size, it still fit pretty tight. Something else that kind of annoyed me is that this ankle area here is woven really tightly. In fact, a lot more tightly than the Ultra Boost. Even though the ankle area on both these shoes looks about the same size, the Ultra Boost has a lot more give, so you actually have the give to put your foot into the sneaker. Every time I put my foot into the Futurecraft, I feel like I'm gonna tear the shoe open. I mean, I don't, but it still feels that way, and it's really disconcerting. Something that I ended up doing to improve the fit of the shoe for me was actually take out the insoles, which definitely helped because the insoles don't really have any padding. They're pretty much just Ultra Boost insoles. So I found that I had a lot more room around the top of my midfoot, and I wasn't as cramped in the shoe. Something that really took me by surprise is that underneath the insole, there's actually just a mesh on top of the 4D midsole. And so even though the shoe isn't any less comfortable without the insole, because this midsole isn't actually solid and because there's just a mesh between your foot and the midsole, you can actually feel airflow underneath your foot, which for some people actually might be a really great thing. For me, like I said before, and this is definitely because it's still cold outside, my feet got even colder. In the summer though, Great, that's awesome. That's sort of an unintended benefit to the sneaker. So to round off the comparison of the uppers, I definitely prefer the Ultraboost upper to the Futurecraft 4D's upper. The prime knit on the Ultraboost is a lot more comfortable and offers a lot more containment. The Futurecraft is fine, it's not bad, but like I said, it's very thin, which makes me think it's not going to be that durable. And also the fit of the Futurecraft is really weird. The Ultraboost you can pretty much just slide your foot into and you're good to go. The Futurecraft definitely takes a little bit more effort. Moving on to the comparison of the midsole, which is I'm sure why you all are here. As I mentioned earlier, the Futurecraft 4D's midsole is essentially 3D printed, whereas the Ultraboost midsole is made up of these pellets that people call boost pellets, which are heated up inside a mold and expand to fit that shape. Obviously, the 3D printed midsole takes a lot longer to produce, and that's why production numbers are so limited. Not only that, but because of the expense that it takes to create the 4D's midsole, the retail price is $300 versus the Ultraboost $180. However, the $120 price difference between the 4D's and the Ultraboost is almost negligible at this point because this shoe is so limited, it's almost impossible to get. Moving into the actual comfort of the two midsoles, most people are familiar with the Boost midsole and how crazy comfortable it actually is. It's one of the softest midsoles on the market, has this really interesting sort of unique cloud-like feel, and actually has a nice sort of springiness to it. Some people say that over time in heavy wear, Boost sort of flattens out and you don't get as much of a nice responsive sort of springy feel, and that's fair. However, I've had pairs that I've worn almost daily that I still have from 2015 and I haven't really noticed any difference at all. Moving on to the 4D, it's definitely a stiffer feel. If you're expecting Ultraboost levels of comfort, that's just not going to happen. It's definitely got a stiffer, more supportive feel, and I found that it actually feels more stable than Boost, at least when moving laterally. I know that with Boost, especially on basketball sneakers, they actually have to cage part of the midsole just so that it's not as unstable and you don't lose your footing when you're moving to the left or to the right. But because of the extra structure and support that the 4D midsole provides, you definitely feel a lot more stable, at least on the midsole. The upper, not so much. I found that when I'm walking upstairs, there's this really interesting springiness you get from the shoe. It almost feels like you're bouncing on a trampoline. Maybe not as extreme as that, but it's definitely sort of a bouncy feeling. I thought that was really cool. It definitely has more response than the Ultraboost. It doesn't feel like you're sinking into the shoe. You feel like you're kind of bouncing off the midsole instead. Another difference between the two shoes is that Boost generally feels the same anywhere your foot is on the midsole, and that's just because they're using the same material throughout the midsole. The only way to really change the feel of the Boost is to cage it on one side or add more like they did in the heel, whereas on the 4D, the 3D printed pattern actually changes based on which part of the midsole you're looking at. The struts in the heel are a lot more widely spaced, so you get a lot more compression and it feels softer, whereas on the toe of the shoe, the pattern is a lot tighter and it doesn't really have any give at all. The shoe is designed to react differently to different parts of your foot, and that's what's so revolutionary about this sneaker. Because this shoe can be personalized from person to person, it really allows you to have a true one-to-one fit. As for the way this feels on foot, because of how wide the pattern is on the heel, it definitely feels a lot softer on the heel, whereas when you come up to the sort of toe and ball of the foot, you don't really get much compression at all, so it definitely feels a lot stiffer. However, like I mentioned before, on stairs, it definitely feels a bit springier, which I like. I've heard people say that the Futurecraft midsole breaks in over time. In fact, I have a couple close friends that actually have this shoe and have said that exact thing. Personally, I don't think that's the case. I've had this shoe for about 3 weeks and I've worn it pretty much every day, and I really think what's happening is people are just getting used to the feel of the sneaker. To be honest, I haven't really noticed much of a difference between the comfort of the Futurecraft 4D and other foam sneakers in the market. 4D isn't like Boost, where when you try it on for the first time, it's a completely new experience. When I first tried on the 4D, I was kind of expecting a little bit more, and I kind of just had this sort of meh reaction. One last thing to take into consideration between these two shoes is cleaning. With Boost, if it gets dirty, all you really have to do is kind of wipe off the midsole. Yes, sometimes the white Boost does stain, which can suck, but a lot of people are concerned with the 4D midsole that you might actually get rocks or dirt or any kind of debris trapped up in between this mesh pattern. And I guess that's a valid concern. I really haven't had any trouble with it at all. And because of the way the sneaker is designed, if you get dirt or debris in the midsole, you can actually just run water through the shoe and the water will actually come out the other side. I'm sure there will be cases of people getting rocks or gum or mud or something trapped in the midsole that they can't get out. But keep in mind, at the end of the day, it is still a shoe, so it's going to get dirty no matter what you do. Overall, these are definitely both great sneakers. The Ultraboost is a proven, refined, less expensive sneaker, and I think for most people who are looking for a performance and lifestyle sneaker, the Ultraboost is definitely the way to go. It's incredibly comfortable, it's great looking, it's very widely available. In fact, you can find some pairs for under retail. However, I still think the Futurecraft 4D is an awesome shoe. It's an incredible, innovative project by Adidas. It's definitely in its early stages, which is the reason why it's so limited and so expensive. But I love the vision, and the fact that they're trying to create a sneaker that can be individually customized to fit each person is such a cool idea. That pretty much wraps up the video for today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on which one of these two sneakers you like better, so make sure to leave that in the comment section down below. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to me if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.